What we do here is go back.
Well, what are we getting into first? We got some beef on the InnerViews podcast, or the interviews in general. This is our first beef.
It's funny that we talked about Takashi and now we have a first beef.
We got our first beef, and someone's trying to bring it to us, and we got them out of here quick. Real quick.
You know, I gave more credit to the North American soccer fan.
Yeah.
I'm taking it back. They're getting zero credit from the comments I've read in the last day.
You know, when I've been trying to tell you that people are trash, and you just gotta.
I was naive to it, man.
Yeah.
But you've been doing it for a while, so you know
Soccer
the
fan, this is my third World Cup going into it. First one, no monetary value. Second one, there was. And I feel like the ones where you're not really getting paid, you're kind of more conscious to what's being said and because you're not really driven by that. Like, obviously you're driven to get your content out, but at the same time, you have more time to really focus on what's being said, and people have more range to come at you because they feel like, oh, well, this guy's not getting paid. This person isn't anyone of any significance. What do they know?
Yeah.
So, Kurt...
And that's another thing. Just because you get paid to do something doesn't mean you're right. I think that gets like lost in this whole thing. Is just because you have a little check mark by your name.
That little blue check mark.
Yeah, or you're an analyst or a journalist doesn't mean you're always correct.
Yeah.
I got to get that out of the way first so you can...
Well, we learned that yesterday. we learned that fast. It's the InnerViews Podcast, raw, organic, soccer banter. So we're going to name drop names because we kind of have to. So first, Curtis Larson, salute to you because it took you 2 hours to get back to me with a response saying that there was no point of responding to what I was saying, but you still took 2 hours to respond to what I had said. And you added no substance to what you were trying to tell me. TFC Live, TFC fans.
I feel like you're gonna get to know TFC Live very well.
TFC Live. I gotta take this off the tripod for a second. TFC Live. If I hashtag this, will they be able to like see it? I'm gonna hashtag it anyways. I'm used to this. I'm gonna Instagram Live every day because this shit is wavy.
Hey, this is the new trend you were on.
TFC Live. Let's get this straight. Sebastian Giovinco would not help Italy make it to the World Cup. Sebastian Giovinco is not the answer to the problems with the Italian national team. Sebastian Giovinco will not fix their problems, whether it be short-term or long-term. It is something much bigger than that. And from the options that they played up front this week, there is not one player that I think was in the main fold that didn't get like 10 minutes or so that I would replace for Sebastian Giovinco given the roles that they are playing. Realistically, Sebastian Giovinco is not replaceable to Immobile because he doesn't offer you what Immobile offers you. And to be honest, there were some people that were very harsh about this being the worst Italian attack ever. It could or could not be. But Immobile had chances to score. Whether he did or did not is besides the point. But
England should have very well been down a couple goals in the first 20 minutes of that game.
It is not the fact that they were playing so badly and nothing was really coming from it. You know what I'm saying? It's just, it didn't really work out.
It seems like the players aren't really down with the current system. And there's a lot of uncertainty, too. Either they have an interim coach and the other guy left and he was a disaster. He didn't seem that he wanted to play any attacking football as it was. So how are you expecting the team to score a ton of goals or perform when you're sitting back half the time?
Exactly.
And there's nothing that Giovinco's a great player. I think that might get lost in this, that people think we don't believe that Giovinco's not a good player. Giovinco's a very good MLS player. Yeah. But there is a huge, huge gulf in class between the MLS and I'm going to venture to say, the top 7 leagues in the world? 7, 8 leagues? I don't believe the MLS is better in competition to the Russian league. It's not better to competition than the Portuguese league. I'd almost venture to say, I don't watch a lot of the Ukrainian league, but Ukrainian teams have always done decently in European competitions.
Yeah.
So, and then you can't base free kick stats and all these other stats off the MLS and compare them to a Serie A or something, because the golfing class just isn't there.
The only real stat they had going for Giovinco, the only real thing that they had going for Giovinco was his stats. And like you said, I don't understand how you can compare his stats to someone else in Europe that has similar stats in a league that I'm not going to go on and say MLS is terrible, but if you're an MLS purist, you can't tell me that the level of competition in Serie A isn't higher, because you'd be lying to yourself.
Yeah, you'd be a fool to think not.
I don't think there's anything wrong with Immobile and what he's been doing this season. Is he a great striker? No, he's a good striker. He's someone that has proven during his time with Lazio that he deserves a chance. We'll give him that. Insigne is one of the key reasons why Napoli is where they are. I don't think he's played well consistently for Italy yet, but he's about to enter his prime. So I don't understand why he wouldn't be there. And then who else is the other position? Giovinco can't play the role that a Candreva can play or a Chiesa could play, where he could track the run of a fullback. He could probably deliver crosses, but can he do both roles? Does he have the work rate to be reliable in that aspect? Or are we going to have, let's say, who played on the left for England this weekend?
Or when they played kind of two in the middle. They played Vardy and Sterling.
Yeah, well, whoever was down on the left for Argentina and whoever played on the left for England, they're going to have overlapping runs. Is Giovinco going to want to or be willing to run back for them? Or are you going to have Immobile chase them for him? You know what I'm saying? Like, he doesn't fit what they're trying to do, and I don't think you can give him a free role in that Italian squad. There is nothing that suggests that he deserves that. So where does he fit in?
Yeah, and then why would you bring him in when he's not a carbon copy, but he's a lesser version of what you already have?
Yeah.
Why would you bring him in over Belotti?
Yeah.
When Belotti is a physical presence.
Yeah.
He's quick and he can finish. He hasn't had the best year at Torino.
Yeah.
But he's still a good player. Okay, he's in a bad stretch.
But
Balotelli can't even get on the team,
Yeah.
and he scored 20 some odd goals
Yeah.
in League 1.
Yeah.
And he's not even getting on the team.
Yeah.
That could be a whole different
topic.
different topic. But he's not getting a sniff.
Let's just give him a chance.
That's what I think. That's what the narrative is. At least give him a chance.
Look, they need to start all over again. They need to. They're not going to be in the World Cup, so bring in these younger players that are there now and start something new and keep a bit of the base there. This was Giovinco's era, and he never cut it for them. Okay? When they were playing, he never cut it for them. So what's the point of bringing him back now? What does he offer you now? We don't need to see him anymore. He knew this, and it's harsh to say, but he knew going to MLS that his chances of playing for that team, because I never thought he should be a main player in that Italian side, but even being a key player off the bench in that team was over when he came over here and took the money.
Yeah, you have to know that.
Yeah.
There was Crescito who plays out in Russia.
Yeah.
Around the same time, he had a comment that said specifically about Giovinco. He's like, he should have known this, like, because he's playing in Russia and he doesn't get a call up.
Yeah.
So he knows that you shot yourself in the foot.
Yeah.
By going to, unfortunately, it's a lesser league.
Yeah.
As much as you don't want to admit to that, at this point, it's a lesser league. There's nothing wrong with saying that. If you're a fan of the MLS, there's nothing wrong with being a fan of the MLS. But at this point, in its current state, it's not up to par. Has it progressed over the last 10 years? Night and day. Somebody 10 years ago wouldn't dream of the players that are currently in the league and the competition that's in the league. Look how Toronto FC have done well in the CONCACAF Champions League, whereas it's been a foregone conclusion the last 10 years. It's always going to be a Mexican side that's going to win it. Whereas this year, at least they're putting up a fight.
Yeah.
So the league is progressing,
Yeah.
but it's still very young. It's 20, 30 years removed from its inception? Something along those lines. It started in the early 90s or something. I don't want to give you a year.
I don't even think that's important right now.
Exactly, but it's still very, very young. There's still so much for the league itself to progress. I think as a North American culture, we want things and we want it now, but it isn't that.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. You can still be a fan of something and it not be as good as what's overseas, because realistically it's not.
Yeah.
And your players aren't going to get the recognition because, quite frankly, you're playing in a lesser league. If you go tear up the AHL or the D League, nobody's going to give you respect like you're doing it in the NBA.
Exactly.
Or the NHL.
Exactly.
That's just not how things work.
Exactly.
And unfortunately, at this point, the MLS is the D League or the AHL until they prove otherwise for a long period of time.
Yep. I want to, like, it just boggles my mind that people actually believe that he would change something. It really does. Like, it doesn't, there is nothing that I've seen since he's come to MLS that makes me feel that he should have a place in that starting 11 for Italy, regardless of if they made the World Cup or not, which they didn't. There's still nothing there that suggests that the type of player that he is, to get the best out of him, that there's any reason for Italy to make that and build that around him based on his numbers at MLS. His set piece taking, okay, you could be a great and efficient set piece taker, but not produce what you need to do throughout the entire 90 minutes. Like, set piece taking is like, what, 0.1 or like 1% of the actual game? Like, you're telling me you're relying on him for his set pieces?
You're going to throw him out there for 90 minutes for the likelihood of having an opportunity?
This ain't American football where you could have someone specifically there to kick a field goal. Or,
exactly.
You know, like, it's wild. I actually want to see.
And if you play him, you're virtually down a man in defense.
Yeah.
Because very rarely does he track back.
Exactly.
So are you going to allow one less player in your defensive setup? Nowadays, we see almost every single national team, every single top side, bomb forward with their fullbacks.
Yeah.
It's the new thing that's in style right now, is the overload of the fullback. So you need somebody to track back.
Yeah.
You can't allow...
And he's not going to do it.
No,
he doesn't do it for TFC.
No.
So why is he going to do it for... What is that going to change? It's just not who he is. He needs the freedom to... And most players do, you could say. You can make that argument. Need the freedom to maximize their talent. Can he play a role? Can he play that wide position that they expect from Candreva, that they expect from Chiesa? I don't think he can. Can he play on the left? Perhaps he could play on the left, but I'm taking Insigne right now because he's someone that you could build towards playing in Euros and him being in the prime of his career to be one of the spearheads of that attack. Whether that works out or not, who knows? Are you going to play him as a number 10? I don't really think he's a number 10 that you'd want. He's more of like a second striker if you're going to put him in that role. So, yeah, we just need to cut this out. We need to cut it out now. And I'm pretty sure Curtis wasn't trolling with his show.
I think he was serious.
Yeah, he is pretty serious. And then our boy Kyle Bond, Italy continuing to ignore Giovinco's potentially worse than any of the baffling roster decisions Klinsmann made up running to the U.S. missing the World Cup. And amazingly, I don't see one journalist questioning it. You want to know why?
Because it's not true.
Because it's wrong. And they watch Serie A on a week in and week out basis, and they realize that there are better players in their own league than Giovinco, and that they don't need him.
That guy, I'm sure he hasn't watched one Serie A game all year.
And I'm pretty sure Curtis hasn't either.
It's just the nature of what it is.
So you
can't be making those comments, seeing the product that is actually on the field.
Yeah. And Curtis was, considering he helped in his previous appearance for Italy, so we're solely basing it on one appearance.
One substitute effort.
One. Come on, Curtis.
And I think that was, we're pushing probably like 5 years ago or something at this point.
Come on, Curtis. Come on.
It's just not necessary.
Yeah. We're Teflon right now in our beefs. But we're open to you coming back and trying to present more cases to us because we're going to stay Teflon.
Listen, I would love to say that a team of the club I support would help a national side do better than what they're currently doing. But realistically, it's not. It's the furthest thing from the truth. It's just a simple answer to get a whole group of MLS fans on your side.
Yeah.
Because that's all it is. You're pandering to the MLS fan.
Yep. And
I get it.
I understand.
I get it. That's your job in a sense.
But you're wrong.
We're not having it.
You're wrong. We'll talk about TFC next week. They have a big game on Friday. hopefully more positive commentary than.
Is it a must-win?
It's not a must-win, but if you lose again, then we really got to start. Like, we really got to put you on the hot seat.
Because they started last year not so well as well. I believe they only won one in like their first. They only won one game in their first 5 or something like that.
Yeah, but there were signs that
it was a new system.
Yeah.
This is what we're expecting them already to be in gear.
You're champions now.
Yeah.
Can't be 0-2 to start the season. Columbus, I can maybe give you a pass because of what they are and what they could be. Montreal, you kind of got to get done.
Yeah.
CONCACAF Champions League or not, you have enough depth. I'm not feeling sorry for you. There's that.
And with that game coming up, it'll be interesting to see how that unfolds.
Yeah. And we got it all here at the InnerViews. We upload videos every day on YouTube. Subscribe to the InnerViews on our YouTube channel. And don't forget to subscribe to the podcast on iTunes. And we also are available to Android users. You could check us out, the InnerViews Podcast. Subscribe.